First at 9.
Good evening, you're watching Primetime News live from the News First Centre in Colombo. I'm Madhushka Balasuriya.
And I'm Shanali De Silva.
First, let's take a look at your headlines.
The headlines on News First at 9.
Ministry of Health confirms that no traces of Clostridium botulinum were found in 104 whey protein samples that were tested. Health Services Trade Union charges that decisions on dairy products were reached without obtaining verification. PAFWEL lodges a complaint with the Human Rights Commission regarding the use of public property for election activities. And a public fair in Trincomalee rejected by traders.
News First at 9.
The Ministry of Health says that tests conducted by the Medical Research Institute on 104 food samples have confirmed that there were no traces of Clostridium botulinum in food products containing high concentrations of the whey protein.
Issuing a release, the Ministry of Health states that the Food Advisory Committee has decided that if food products containing whey protein, high concentration whey protein and whey powder have been seized and temporarily held, then such food products should be immediately released to the market with effect from 10th of September. The communique adds that Food Advisory Committee had reached this decision after taking into consideration reports from international laboratories and test results from Medical Research Institute. The communique reads that the special label indicating no Clostridium botulinum need not be displayed on food products any further. However, permission has been granted for the sale of food items displaying the label until stocks are over.
In the same story, the Health Services Trade Union convened a media briefing today to explain the present situation that has arisen regarding milk powder.
There were no reports when arrests were made relating to botulinum in milk or the botulinum poisonous agent. There are many institutions that are attached to the Ministry of Health for this purpose. Despite possessing all the necessary facilities, a ban was imposed on these dairy products without confirming anything. Investigations were conducted after imposing a ban. When the ban came into effect, an unidentified mafia took measures to create unrest within the general public by transforming this into a serious problem. However, today, a responsible institution, the Medical Research Institution, consisting of high-ranking officials, specialists and trained individuals, which incidentally belongs to the Ministry of Health, confirmed that not a single sample contained traces of Clostridium. It has been days since a test proved of this. One can say that drinking fresh milk is better. Similarly, one can say that it is better to live in the jungle. These are personal opinions of people, but the consumer in this country should have the freedom to decide what to eat or drink. If the Ministry of Health or anyone else is responsible for it, then facts should be proven scientifically instead of mixing economic, political or other policies into it. That is wrong. I cannot ask the general public to accept my policy.
වෙනත් ප්‍රතිපත්ති මේකට කලවම් කරන එක වැරදි. මට මගේ ප්‍රතිපත්තිය මහ ජනතාවට පිළිගන්න කියලා කියන්න බෑ.
Meanwhile, parliamentarians Vidura Vikramanayaka and Anura Kumara Dissanayaka shared their views on the situation surrounding the milk powder issue.
There were mafias. Recently, there was an electricity mafia. Most recently, we had the milk powder mafia. There are various mafias. I think there is an education mafia as well. They constantly speak about a mafia. Today, the government is the mafia. It is the government that has burdened the people. It is the government that is not providing answers to the issues of the people. There is no point speaking about a mafia. Who is in the milk powder mafia? Who is in the mafia of the wholesalers? Who is in the mafia in the stock exchange? Who are they? Many of them enjoy dinner with those in the government. Those who spend money during elections are the ones holding the power. We urge the people not to be deceived by them.
රාත්‍රී භෝජන සංග්‍රහය ගන්න ඡන්ද කාලෙදී සල්ලි වියදම් කරන කණ්ඩායම තමයි යෝගේ බලය අල්ලගෙන තිබෙන්නේ. ඒ නිසා මේ රට ජනතාවට කියන මේවට රැවටෙන කාලේ දැන් අපි ඉවර කරන්න ඕන.
මොකද කිව්වේ මේ කිරිපිටි ඔක්කොම වසයි කියලා මුළු.
They said that the milk powder is poisonous. They took away all the milk powder stocks from the supermarkets. Who received money from it? How did the milk powder suddenly become all right for consumption? There is a health ministry regulation for this. They say that there is no whey protein in milk powder. They have taken the milk powder and allowed it to expire before destroying it. Now they say they didn't identify it in any milk packet. Who is lying? Isn't it the government? This government is carrying out a rule with lies and deception.
දෙන්නේ කියලා බය කරලා කුට්ටිය ගත්තා. දැන් කියනවා එක කිරි පැකට් එකේවත් අපි ඒව දැක්කේ නැහැ. එහෙනම් කවුද මේ බොරුව ගෙනිච්චේ? ආණ්ඩුව නෙවෙයිද? ආණ්ඩුව මේ බොරුවෙන් මිත්‍යාවෙන් තමයි මේ රජය ගෙනියන්නේ.
This is News First, Election Headquarters.
Members of the PAFREL organization visited the National Human Rights Commission today.
Members of PAFREL visited the Human Rights Commission to explain facts pertaining to complaints received by the chairman of the PAFREL on the upcoming Northwestern, Central and Northern Provincial Council elections. We provided detail to the chairman of the Human Rights Commission on 3 particular aspects that we have identified. We have received numerous complaints from all 3 provinces about the misuse of public property. We have received several complaints from the Northern Province, especially from Jaffna and Kilinochchi, on the involvement of security forces personnel in political activities. We called on the Human Rights Commission to dispatch a team to the north to act as observers before and during the elections. They agreed to dispatch a special team to the north and take immediate measures regarding these complaints in order to bring the perpetrators to book and to prevent such incidents from recurring.
Meanwhile, in a letter to the Elections Commissioner, the Election Monitoring Network notes that it has received complaints that the postal votes of soldiers attached to a base in Kilinochchi who were on leave had been cast by other persons.
The letter notes that this election malpractice took place in the 1st Technical Infantry Division located in the Ilakkachi area in Palalei, Kilinochchi. The Election Monitoring Network calls for an extensive investigation to be conducted and disciplinary action to be taken against those responsible. It also calls on officials to ensure that the soldiers who lost their right to vote due to this incident be given the right to cast their ballot. The Election Monitoring Network notes that it has observed the involvement of military personnel in election propaganda activities. In its letter to Elections Commissioner, the Election Monitoring Network adds that it has received information that a military lorry carrying a stock of posters regarding the Northern Provincial Council had been handed over to the Kilinochchi Army camp last night.
However, Army media spokesperson Brigadier Ruwan Wanikasuriya denies allegations that military personnel are being used in election propaganda activities for the Northern Provincial Council elections.
Yes, Madhishka. Now speaking to News First, the Brigadier said that steps will be taken to look into this matter.
Meanwhile, the Frontline Socialist Party began distributing leaflets today ahead of the Northern Provincial Council elections.
The Frontline Socialist Party began its campaign this morning in the Jaffna town.
A public rally organised by the Tamil National Alliance was held in the Nandun Karani area in Vavuniya yesterday.
Today, the international community is exerting pressure on Sri Lanka. Countries such as America, India and Europe are calling on the government to work together with the TNA and reach a consensus. They are calling for the creation of a lasting and honourable political solution which is fair and just. We stand by our chance that any political solution should pave the way for our people to live with dignity in peace and security. They say they want to win the hearts of the people, but what they imply is that they want to control the people. They are trying to control the people similar to the manner in which they were controlled during the period following the war. They smile and laugh together with the people. If there are no buses, they were provided with transport facilities. This is good. As people, it is good to help each other. However, there is a long-term goal within this. They believe that the Tamil people should never speak or think about their rights.
Speaking at the Cabinet Media briefing held today, Cabinet Media spokesperson Minister Keheliya Rambukwala commented on the election manifesto of the Tamil National Alliance.
I believe that there are issues that we need to discuss politically in this manifesto. It is an issue that has become political. That is why certain groups have decided to go to courts. The government is clearly disappointed because that manifesto cannot be accepted.
Meanwhile, speaking to the media today, the Elections Commissioner expressed the following views.
The Tamil National Alliance is not a registered alliance. It is not registered as an accepted political party. Therefore, I have not received their manifesto. They have not sent it to me and no one has given it to me. The duties of the Elections Commissioner include the printing of official ballot papers, ensure the voters receive it and ensure that the election is carried out. It is not our duty to pass verdicts on matters that should be taken up in court. The Commissioner does not have the constitutional or judicial power to do so. He only possesses administrative powers.
Elections Commissioner Mahinda Deshapriya says that 19 election observers from South Asian countries will arrive in the island to monitor the upcoming provincial council polls.
Yes, and during a meeting held with representatives of media institutions, the Elections Commissioner noted that 4 election observers from the Commonwealth are due to arrive for election monitoring.
දකුණු ආසියාතික මැතිවරණ බලධාරීන්ගේ සංගමේ නිරීක්ෂකයන්
A team consisting of 19 individuals who are representatives from the South Asian Election Officials Association will arrive in the country. A former Elections Commissioner from India, M. Gopalasamy, will lead the team.
හිටපු ඉන්දියානු මැතිවරණ කොමිෂන් සභාවේ හිටපු ප්‍රධාන මැතිවරණ කොමසාරිස් වරකු වූ ගරු N. Gopalasamy මැතිතුමා එනවා.
Questions were raised about governors involving themselves in election activities.
යම්මයිකට දේශපාලන අයිතිවාසිකම් තියනවාද නැද්ද කියන එක තීරණය කිරීම මම නැහැ.
I cannot decide if an individual has a right to engage in politics or not. I have written a reply to a complaint where an individual got onto a stage. I have written a letter to the relevant political party advising them that it would be best if governors are not involved in active politics publicly. I cannot take a definite decision based on 2 factors. Hence, an institution which has the power should provide a ruling on this.
මට නිශ්චිත තීන්දුවක් දෙන්න බැරි මත දෙකක් තියෙන එක. මත දෙකක් තියෙන එකේදී ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් මේ මතයට තීන්දුවක් ගන්න ඕනේ නිශ්චිත බලය සහිත ආයතනයක.
We'll be back after a short commercial break.
Pavement vending is not only a nuisance to the general public, but is also a trade with no discipline. The main reasons for the lack of discipline is the obtaining of money under the guise of various institutions or the charging of money in an organized manner. Pavement vendors who are aware that money is being charged in a manner that lacks transparency cover their losses to the consumers. Despite steps taken to improve the infrastructure facilities to ensure the sale of vegetables and fruits is carried out in a proper manner, fruits and vegetables in the Trincomalee city limits are sold on the pavement. A group of such pavement vendors pay tax to the municipal council. Although another group claims that they pay a sum to the municipal council for them to carry out their trade, there is no record of such money being collected by the municipal council. This group consists of individuals who come to the Trincomalee city purely for trading activities. The group that pay a tax to the municipal council make their payments not to engage in their trade on the pavement, but for the shop space from this shopping complex that should be given to them. This complex was constructed for the Urban Development Authority for the Naganahira Navodaya at a cost of 47 million rupees. 4 years after this complex was declared open, that is when the dates for the Eastern Provincial Council elections were set. 2 government politicians who visited the area for propaganda purposes laid a foundation stone for the construction of a bridge that would lead to the upper floor of the complex. This promise has been limited to mere words. Moreover, the shop space in the upper floor of this complex is in no way suitable for trading activities. When it rains, it is impossible to stay here. It is like staying in a tent. If those who are paying a tax for the shop space fail to do so, legal action is taken against them and they are forced to pay the tax for the shop space. Even the administration of the Urban Council of Trincomalee has found it difficult to mete out justice to the traders who continue to pay taxes for the shop space, despite continuing to ply their trade on the pavement. No one can go to the new complex. When it rains, one cannot stay there. Those who have obtained shop space have closed down the shops and are paying taxes for the shop space. They even find it difficult to ply their trade on the pavement because of traders coming from other areas. Shouldn't the responsibility of rectifying the flaws in this complex be vested at least on the Urban Council? Chairman of the Urban Development Authority, this is over to you.